Welcome to the Sport Exchange with me, John Robbie. Hi guys, welcome to the Sport Exchange podcast where we meet sporting personalities and learn about their lives and their life stories. So often on the Sport Exchange podcasts, we hear about the difference between amateur and professional sport. Well, today we meet a lady who dominated as an amateur, but had to wait a long time before her maiden success as a professional. It happened this year at the Wild Coast Suns Supersport Challenge. Welcome, golfer Nobuhle Dlamini. Nobuhle, thanks for coming in and hi.
Hello, John. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me in here.
What is the state of play now? I mean, winning your maiden tournament, what doors does that open?
Look, I must say, before I won, I had been through some struggles. I know I had an amazing amateur career. But before the actual win and turning pro, I did a lot of changes to try and become more consistent. I mean, I wanted to get better. We all want to be the best that we can be in the world. It took me time to adjust, and I had some good rounds, but rather inconsistent. And when I came up, I started believing more in myself. I mean, in the process of changing, I lost a lot of confidence. And I actually discovered that, without confidence, you're nothing in golf. I regrouped myself. I kept working on what I was working on with Warwick, and it eventually came together. And all of a sudden, everything clicked. And I won at the Supersport Challenge. So for me, that was a big confidence booster. And I've recently just signed with MSC Sports with the manager Barney Gurnan.
I know Barney well. Great.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that's going to open a lot of doors for me. But I've got a good feeling about the future. So I've also gone up to play the European LET first stage for the qualifiers. And I won that. So things are looking good this year.
So what's next? Morocco, the final qualification for the European Tour?
Yes, that's what's coming up next. That will be on the 17th to the 20th of December.
And how tough is that? I mean, I've met many professional golfers who say playing the tournaments or trying to win a tournament is not as pressurized as trying to get your card.
Yeah, that is correct. And I think everybody says that because it's 1 week in the year where you have to play your best golf. There comes, you're probably about 240 people, and they're looking for top 25.
25 out of 240?
Yeah, 25 players they're looking for. So that's the pressure, number one. But overall, I really believe it's a mental game of the week. Who's got the strongest mind in the week, whether you have the technique or not. Everybody's stressed just as much as you are.
Tell us about the win at the Wild Coast, because it was windy, wasn't it? And, as everyone knows, that separates, I was going to say the men from the boys, but the wheat from the chaff in terms of golf. As Gary Player always said, give me the worst conditions, because I know I'm mentally tougher than the rest. And even though it's going to be tough, I'll do better. Tell us about that final round and the wind.
When I played that course, I played it for the first time. And the first time I stepped on the first tee box, I liked the golf course. And I said, I love it. It suits my eye. And
is it like that in golf? Do you just get a feel for a course?
You get some courses where you get there and you're like, I'm going to kill this.
Right.
I like it so much. And some you're like, okay, I got to play safe. I got to be conservative. If I want to do well, I got to change my game strategy. So I felt like at Wild Coast, I can just be myself. I can hit all the big drives. I can go aggressive with my pitching. The greens are wide enough, and there's lots of space to play around with the ball. And when the wind picked up, I felt more resilient. And I said to myself, play with the wind. Whichever way it goes, you've got 14 clubs in your bag. You can use them all. Make them work for you. I stuck to my game plan. I had to change on the last day. The last day was really, really windy.
Yeah.
And I was teeing off at the back of the field. So I probably had the worst of the wind. But I was so confident, believed in everything that I was doing. I was striking the ball well. I was pitching well. I was putting well. So I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the wind.
You must have felt you were living the dream at that moment, eh?
Very much. It would have been... Although I did tumble a little bit on my front nine on the last round, because I started thinking, I'm about to achieve what I've been searching for,
Yeah.
So
how do you fight that creeping in? How do you fight making the winning speech out of your mind?
You got to stay in the moment. Play the shot that you have to play at that time and get it over and done with, and you move on to the next one. Stay in the moment and work with what you got at the time. And you only deal with prize giving when it comes. So
how important is the caddy in that situation?
very, very important. I caught myself a few times asking my caddy, what is the leaderboard looking like? How is whosoever playing, that person that was behind me? And he kept saying to me, focus on what we're doing. Focus on what we're doing. Hit this ball there. The wind will bring it
So he
back.
wouldn't tell you?
He wouldn't tell me. He said, focus on what you're doing. You're playing well. You're playing well. Focus on what you're doing. I think I asked him like 5 times. So the 5th time he said, okay, I'll tell you. You're still leading. That's all I can tell you. But just focus on what we're doing. We got to the last hole. I still wanted to know. I think it would have helped me. I just wanted to know. I just wanted to know if I'm allowed to drop a shot.
Yeah.
Am I still gonna be comfortable? Because it was getting tough.
Yeah.
And he said, "You're still leading. You're comfortable. Play your golf."
And what does that do to your head then?
It relaxed me.
Yeah.
It relaxed me. He made me focus on myself.
Because it's a hell of a tough drive, that last hole, isn't it?
Really, really tough. So the wind was totally different. It blew southeast on the last day, but really, really hard. And the other days it was coming behind us, so you had an iron of the tee box. So the next day it was driver.
Into the wind?
Driver into off the left.
Oof.
Yeah, and it's a dogleg left. So
talk us through the last hole.
Tough hole. So I said to my kid, I'm going to hit driver today on the last hole because it's going to play so long. So he says, it's okay, you're comfortable. Started left. So I started left, wind takes it, I missed the fairway. So I get into the rough, I say, I can't play this ball and I'm not even going to attempt going for it. So he says, okay, let's play it out. We can play for 5. 5 is okay. We're still winning. Chipped it out. I had 131 to the
approximately.
131 to the pin. I remember it very well.
Okay, what's that? What club is that? Into the wind.
Normally it would be my pitching wedge.
Oh.
And on that day it was a 5-iron.
My goodness me.
Yeah. So I hit a 5-iron. Just got it to the front edge. And I had 2 putts to my celebration.
How long was the last putt?
8 feet.
Oof. And did you know then that you could miss it?
I knew I could miss it because the leaderboard was
there.
It was there at the clubhouse, so I could see it.
Yeah.
I made it anyway.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And what did it feel like that moment? I mean, you must have looked back on your whole career, your whole life, and thought, I've been building up to that. Can you explain what it meant when that ball went in?
It meant that I can do it again. I've still got it. But much more than everything, I was so relieved. Relief of, I had come second so many times. I had lost in a playoff, but many, many, many second
I think you had
finishes.
16 top 10 finishes. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of them I've led and blew it. And I started to think that, maybe I don't know how to win anymore.
Yeah.
But I said, I'm going to keep trying. I know I can win. I can feel this thing. I can feel I can play. And I was so relieved after the speeches and the prize giving.
Do you remember them, or is it a blur?
I remember the speech, but afterwards, I sat alone and I was just crying alone, tears of joy. I was like, wow, I did it.
Because you must think of every shot you've hit on the driving range. There are millions of chips and putts and bunkers out when it's raining, when it's cold, when you'd rather be watching TV. That must go through your head, does it?
Yeah, very much. You think of your worst practice days where you say to yourself, I'm going to work on this drill. I've been battling with it. but I'm going to get it right. You go out in the winter, it's ice cold, 6:45, you're hitting balls at the World of Golf, and you're all on your own. It's windy. And then all of a sudden it starts raining, but you stay there because you're motivated to achieve what you want to achieve. Those are the things that made me cry. It just came back to me. I'm like, oh my God, this hard work has paid off. It was all worth it. And suddenly I do believe I can win many more tournaments.
I've got goosebumps just listening to you about that. What is the difference? I mean, you couldn't stop winning as an amateur. I mean, you were ranked from dare I say it, Swaziland, which is not exactly one of the great world bastions of golf. And you were the number 2 ranked amateur in the world.
Look, at amateur level...
What was the difference? Was it just so much fun?
No. Yes, it was fun. I enjoyed it. But I think the big difference was I used to play to perform. I used to play to win. When I went to play a tournament, I played it because I wanted to win it. I went there to say I'm going to win this one. If I didn't win it, I'm going to come second, but I'm not impressed with second.
Second is losing. Yeah.
So I turned pro, and then I went, like I said earlier, I went searching for answers and where I wasn't good enough. Like I had this high push bad shot with my driver. So I went to Warwick. I said, I'm struggling with this shot. My stroke average is 69.4, which I'm very happy with. But I don't like the shot that I hit. It's when I'm under pressure, I cannot control it. I understand it. I can aim for it, but I don't like it. So he said, okay, this is what we need to look at. So I got very technical. Over the time, I think in about 2.5 years, 3 years, I was working. I started with a small change, and then I wanted perfection, and then I wanted to get
That's
better.
That's what Gary Player says is the worst, when you get 100 thoughts in your head.
Yeah, I got caught up in trying to have a very good-looking golf swing. As an amateur, I didn't care. I could control the ball. I knew where I was hitting it, and it went exactly where I wanted to hit it. And that's what got me the wins. But as a pro now, I wanted to be perfect. I wanted to have the perfect golf swing and a good-looking golf swing. Unfortunately, didn't produce the results. It's taken me so long, but I'm a much better person today. I've learned much more from struggling.
So you've served your time in a way, haven't you? You've learned the lessons, and now,
I
mean, you sound very, very comfortable in your golfing skin, are you?
Yeah. I mean, I worked through the whole game: putting, pitching, chipping, long game. My driver can shape the ball. You know, I'm very comfortable. So I just got to go out there and play and have fun.
What would your advice be to a young golfer who's listening to this? Because everybody says, every golfer says, if I only, old golfer, 40s, whatever, they say, if only I had my head now on my young body. And all sportsmen say, an old head on a young body. What do you say to someone who's got a young head on a young body? What do you say to them?
I would say stay humble and believe in what you're doing. If you've got some potential, it means you're doing a lot of things right. Work on what you're doing right and perfect what you're doing right. It's easier to do it that way than change yourself. Believe in what you're doing and keep working on it. You can make small adjustments, but we are not all the same. Physically, temperamentally. So nobody has the same golf swing. So do what works for you.
It's funny, something you said resonated, because I'm a great Gary Player fan. I mean, I just think, not even as a golfer, just as a person, his attitude is unbelievable. And he said to me once, he said, when we went to the majors, there were only 4 of us who believed we could win. That was me, that was Nicholas, that was Trevino, and then it was Watson. Basically, we were the only ones. Everyone else came hoping they could win and hoping they could do well. But we spent our lives waiting for those 4 because we said we could do it. You said very much the same thing.
Yeah.
How do you, as a professional, when you have to make money and pay the bills, So therefore, a second, a third, a top 10 is very, very important.
Yeah.
How do you separate those two mindsets? Do you understand what I'm asking?
I understand you clearly. It's a very big challenge, and I think that's what caught up with me as well.
Yeah.
Amateur golf was very much comfortable. If you didn't have a good day, it was okay. You only lose a few points on the rankings, but you could make it up the next week. But as a pro, if you don't do well on that week, you're not making any money. And you're missing out on many more tournaments coming up because your ranking has fallen down. And therefore, you start changing. You stop going aggressive. You want to be conservative so that you can make something. To make it count for yourself.
So fear comes in, yeah.
Fear then comes into your space. And it's not nice playing fearful golf. It's hard if you don't have the finance, especially if you don't know how you're going to make it for next week, how you're going to play the upcoming tournament. Then you start thinking, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do that. If you think that way, it's negative. The brain...
If and when, sorry to interrupt, if and when you get to Europe, in a way, because I can't understand why more South African golfers don't play overseas. The problem is that your expenses are in euros and in pounds.
Expensive.
So it's actually a hell of a risk to get over there.
Yeah.
Do you feel that, or do you say, look, it's my destiny, I've got to give it a go, I can't die wondering?
As much as you want to give it a go, the reality is it is expensive to live in Europe. The rand, 17 rand to a euro. And sometimes I used to count, like, every time I buy a drink, I'm like, I'm paying 50 rand for a drink.
Yeah, you have onion soup instead of steak.
You start looking out at what you're going to eat, things like that. But, we can't live like that. You want to be comfortable. And you want to make sure that you're at the best comfort when you play the tournament. That is why the great players will always have a better advantage over you. Like Gary Player always says, you used to go there to win the tournament, and then you get there as a rookie. You get there and you see the people you've always looked up to. The legends of the game, you're like, wow, I'm actually playing with these ladies today. But you're like, okay, but how am I going to beat Laura Davis today, So you go there, you play with them, and you get humbled a little bit. But when you watch them, you believe you can beat them. Because scores, you've shot the scores they shoot. But with experience, they were much better than you are. And everything has been a process to get to where I am today, and I'm still learning.
Tell us where it started. I've never heard of La Bamba in Swaziland. What is it? A small place? Is it where did a young girl from La Bamba get her love of golf?
Lobamba. I was born in Lobamba. I come from there. Lobamba is a small village in Swaziland. Swaziland is a small country, so I'd say it's about 40 kilometers from Baban.
Yeah.
Which is the capital city. My dad introduced me to the game of golf.
Now, this is not Joe Dlamini. I nearly made a huge, because I assumed, as everybody else does, with a surname Dlamini, and a dad was Joe, or Joseph, that it was Joe Dlamini. It's not Joe Dlamini who played on the senior tour here and so on, is it?
No, it's not. It's not the old Joe. My dad's name is Johannes Dlamini.
Yeah.
Joe is Joseph Dlamini. But, everybody always thinks Joe is my dad.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of understand. Look, my dad plays golf. Joe played golf as well. They're both professionals. My dad also played a little bit on the Sunshine Tour.
Right.
So they could be right, they could be wrong, but I think I understand which Joe they're talking about. So my dad introduced me to the game back in 2004. He himself started out as a caddy at the Royal Swazi. He was a self-taught golfer.
Yeah.
And later on, he turned pro, and after turning pro, he would work at the Royal Swazi as well. And I think in 1998, I was very young, 1998, he went to Scotland to study golf coaching.
Yeah.
And he got his diploma through the Royal and Ancient.
Oh,
golf.
wow, yeah.
So he got qualified to teach. So he was the first professional golf coach from Swaziland.
Wow.
So then they started a golf academy in 1999 after he got qualified. The academy was sponsored by MTN, was a junior golf development. And they actually took up quite a lot of youngsters from all over the country, different schools. He went scouting everywhere. And a lot of us joined. And I joined the academy much later, I think 5 years later, in 2004. But I mean, before I joined the academy, I was much closer to him. So I used to follow him around when he went to play.
Daddy's little girl.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so I used to pick up balls for him when he chips, when he's practicing. I was always there. But I started to play in 2004.
And did you instantly take to it, or was it difficult? Or?
Very much. He gave me my first lesson when I was 12 years old. Few basics. He said, watch what I'm doing. You've been watching me for a very long time now, but now watch carefully what I'm doing. So I watched. He hit about 5 balls, and then he said, here, hit. So I hit it, didn't go very far. And within the lesson, I could hit it up in the air, which was about 30 minutes. And from there, I just took it seriously. I loved it. And I think in the beginning, I really enjoyed being around him at the golf course. You know, it was nice. And he used to get me snacks and everything when I was younger. So it was nice being around him. I got all the nice things.
And when was the moment where you said, I can actually be good at this? I can actually go somewhere in this. When did your ambition kick in?
I started playing lady tournaments in Swaziland, and I was winning the club tournaments.
At a young age?
At a young age, about 14.
The ladies must have loved you, eh?
They did. And in 2006, I was 14 years old at the time. I went to play in the Junior British Open, which was in Scotland, Kilmarnock. I was 18 handicap, and I played in the bronze division. So I won the African trophy there. And it was all great, but I don't think I had actually realized what I had done at the time.
Yeah.
When I went back home, everybody was like, wow.
Celebrity.
Just came back from Swaziland. I was in the newspapers, front page. Nobuhle Dlamini wins the African trophy in the British Open, in the Junior British Open. So I was like, wow, look, daddy. And everyone was so proud of me. I really, really enjoyed everybody's support from there. And I played, so I went back again 2008. Now I was playing in the silver division. So, and I won it again. So I defended the title.
Right.
Yeah. So that's when I actually realized I wanted to take golf seriously. And I got so lucky that in 2005, I was playing in the King's Cup. 2006, I was playing in the King's Cup in Swaziland. I played with, there were some South African guys that were invited to play in Swaziland. One of the Gunene brothers, Zoli Gunene. I played with him. He was so impressed. He says, I cannot believe there's a young girl that plays golf like this. Do you really like golf? I said, yes, I do. And he says, this is so amazing. Play, enjoy your game. Talk to me afterwards. So I played. And I finished second in the tournament. So I was really, really proud. And at the end, I think he gave me, it was an interview, really, just to find out who I am, where I come from, and how keen I am of the game. And then gave me his card. He said, let's keep in touch. So they came back again. General Nyanda has a golf day there, so they came back as a group of 30.
Spiwe Nyanda, yeah.
Spiwe
Yeah,
Nyanda.
that's
General
right. I've played
Spiwe
golf with
Nyanda.
him. I've played golf with him, yeah.
So a whole lot of them, General Nyanda, General Shoke, a whole big group of them came back to Swaziland. And they invited me. They went and they looked for me. They found me. They invited me to go and play with them. So I played with them. And I won their tournament. So they called my dad. We met with them together. They asked me if I would like to take golf seriously. So I said, yes, I do. And they said...
Remind us how old you were now?
I was 16 at the time.
16, right, yeah.
And they said, would you be able to move to South Africa, Gauteng, if you get an opportunity, if we give you an opportunity to go that side and further your golf? So I said, yes.
And how did you feel? Answer to your dreams, or were you nervous?
That was life-changing for me.
Yeah.
Coming from a village, I used to go to school. I used to walk like 3 kilometers to school.
Gee.
And do your house chores in the morning. When you come back, carry on with them, then do your homework. It was different. It was tough.
Yeah. Rural Africa.
Very rural Africa. Couldn't even afford to buy a full bucket of balls. My dad used to give me a few balls, 5 balls after school. Take my 5 balls, take a 7-9 and a 3-wood. Go there by the field where everybody's heading their cattle and their goats. You hit your 5 balls, follow them. Hit them back, follow them, hit them back, follow them until you've worked on what you need to work on. And then you go back home and carry on with school homework. So I came to Joburg in 2006.
What was that like? I mean, it must have been like going to a different world.
It was different. In a way, I was a little bit lost.
Yeah.
I came to the city and I was like, what is going on here? But it was boarding school. I went to Summit College.
Right.
Yeah.
And was this all arranged through the Kunenis and
through the
everything?
Kunenis,
Great.
so
they basically became sponsors.
Very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they gave me a bursary. They paid for my schooling and my golf. So I found a coach at Johannesburg Country Club, and I take lessons from there. And I mean, from there, that's when I realized, okay, this is an opportunity that not a lot of people get. So I got to up my academics. I've got to win some golf tournaments. I came here through the golf, I've got to do it in South Africa now. So I didn't play 2007, 2008.
Why not?
I don't know. I was still a bit lost. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know people around, but I was still practicing.
So it was a wobble in your career.
Wobble, yeah, pretty much. But I mean, it was no harm. I was still practicing. I was still getting the best education.
Yeah. Tell us about that, because you've got a qualification, haven't you? You've got a degree.
Yes, I studied sports science at the University of Pretoria. Sports science, option golf. So sports science and golf. I majored in sports management.
And how important was that for you?
It was very important for me. It was. It taught me so much. A lot of people when they see they've got potential in sport, they ditch the education and they just go professional. But I feel like it was a life lesson that I needed. And it's a process. I had to go through it. Yeah. To be where I am today. I mean, to help me mature.
It's obviously a very mature decision to have made.
Yes.
Was it as easy as it sounds talking about it, or did you agonize over it? Was it a question of saying, I must do this rather than following my love of golf, etc.? Tell us more about the actual decision and how difficult it was.
Deep inside myself, I was tempted to turn pro because I had gone back to Swaziland after my schooling. So the bursary was now over, and I was looking for scholarships again. So USA colleges and back here in South Africa. And I was still, so 2010 was an unintended gap year again. So I was back in Lobamba in 2010.
And what was it like going back? I mean, it must have been another culture shock in a way, in reverse. Or was it lovely going back to your roots?
Not lovely, but John, there's no place like home.
Sure.
Not lovely in a sense of this is not where I have to be for my career. I don't want to be here for the purpose of my career. So in 2010, I was back at nothing. I had my matric. I was matriculated, but the whole year of 2010, I was just hitting balls there by the goats. Hitting balls. I had much more balls this time.
Yes,
I had better clubs. I had better clubs.
Okay.
I had a whole bag of balls. I could hit 100 this time. And it was the same thing. But I had so much better knowledge of the golf swing. And I really believed that I'd get a scholarship to go back to South Africa, or if I start communicating with more people, just to let them know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
They would take interest.
So what happened?
So what happened? Just long story again.
Yeah.
So what happened?
That's fascinating.
So what happened was in 2010, I was now elected to go and play in the All Africa Challenge Trophy for Swaziland. Then in the All Africa, I get there, play there, and I win the event. So I came across a lady called Alison White from Scotland. She worked for the Royal and Ancient.
Yeah.
She had met me before in one of the tournaments. Didn't remember her very well, but she remembered me. She certainly did. So she came up to me. She said, "You're doing so well. I've been following. And what are you busy with these days? What are you up to? What's happening with your career?" So I said, "Ma'am, I've just matriculated now. This year I've been at home just practicing. I'm hoping to get into university. I'm looking for a scholarship. I don't know what's going to come out of it, but I'm really, really hoping I'll get something." So she said, "Okay, so what would you like to do?" So I said I would like to study business management. And she said, "Okay, this is what the RNA can do for you as a person coming from Africa, because we support African golf development." She said, "We can give you £5,000 a year to contribute towards your studies." And I said, "Wow, that can take me a long way. It's
a lot of rands.
65,000 rands, you know."
I love the golfers. They can convert money into the different currencies. I'm very impressed. Yeah. Sorry, continue, Nobuhle.
Yeah. So I said, it's a lot of money. It can take me a long way. She said, "We work with the University of Pretoria. Maybe put in your application there. We'll pay that money towards your tuition, and you can study through that." So I applied. I got accepted. Yes, it was 65,000 rands, but it was way short because I wanted to do golf as well. Because I had something, I went to companies in Swaziland. I was asking everywhere. I said, "Look, I got accepted at a university. Please help me."
Yeah.
So company called Galp in Swaziland put in the balance. So there I was in university. And
do you think the fact that you had to put the effort in, it didn't just fall at your feet?
Yes.
Do you think that sharpened your resolve?
It did very much. Look, I had to put in the effort. People will support you if you work hard and you put in the results.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. I said, I'm going to show them that I can do it. I'm going to show them that I can put in the work, and the results are there. I'm sure they'll support me. My dad has always motivated me to work hard in everything that I do. And
do you have brothers and sisters? Do you have siblings?
Yes, I do.
How many have you got?
Big family. I've got 3 brothers and 4 sisters.
Oh, wow. What did they think of you? Did any of them go the golfing route or sporting route at all?
My 3 brothers have played, but didn't like it very much.
Yeah.
So they preferred soccer. And my little sister plays, but More casually. Like, I mean, she's that lady that would prefer to be in the salon than playing golf.
Yeah. But it's that spark, isn't it? You get that spark. You had the spark that said, I had it with rugby.
It has to come from
I
within.
have to do it. It's something. It's not a choice.
Yeah.
I have to play this particular game. So you got to university, then you studied, and tell us when your golf again really picked up. Tell us when you thought, hold on, I can now play professional and I can play it at the top level.
So when I got to the university, I joined the academy. So now I was playing all these tournaments. I started winning. I had won in 2009 while I was still in school. I'd won the SA amateur match play.
Yeah.
Which was...
I think you were the first black lady to do that, weren't you? Yeah.
Also another big write-up, first black to win South African national tournament.
How did that make you feel? Because in a way it seems crazy, but given the history of South Africa, it is a massive, massive thing. But did that put pressure on you as a role model?
Look, innocently playing the game, I went there to play golf so I can win. And win for the fun because I know I can play this game. You know what I mean? And again, when the results are being announced, the story that is actually behind the whole thing, I must say to my ignorance, I didn't understand what I had just done. As you say, the history of South Africa. A lot of people, again, applauded me for what I had done. It was a big story. And I was like, I'm only just doing my best at what I love to do. And if it makes such a big difference to people, I'm happy to keep doing it.
Did you ever experience racism? I mean, every black person in South Africa experiences it at some stage, even if it's only the raised eyebrow. You know the issue. Did it ever become an issue? Was there ever a time you were troubled by it?
Yeah, a few places. It's happened, and it still happens today.
How?
Unfortunately. Even if it's not said, there are some places where you walk into the building and you can feel that you're not welcome.
It's disappointing.
It's very disappointing. But...
not amongst the players, though, I presume. The players have accepted you?
Players accepted me. They love me for who I am. Perhaps I should say they respect me for what I do. I've got good friends. I mean, we've known each other for a very long time. There's always that one person who's going to ruin it for everyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But majority are really, really nice people. At the clubs, you get the older generations and those who are my age, who you can see they're brought up that way. Even when I talk to them and we're having a conversation, there's a few things that slip out of their tongues.
Yeah.
But they don't mean it.
Yeah.
But you can see it's upbringing. But
that's the challenge. Sorry, go on.
I mean, like someone will say, "Oh, these guys," referring to the caddies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly. Caddies are the worst treated people in the world, and they're professionals.
And I said, buddy, but you can't make that comment. You can't say that.
Yeah.
Then they say, "Oh, but Nobs, you're not black." I'm like, okay, so what am I? Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, let's just leave it. We treat everybody the same.
Gee.
My kid is black. I'm black. We're all the same. He's less fortunate than I am.
I suppose that's the challenge looking ahead. But now you say you didn't sort of realize that when you won the amateur. Now you do realize it. Now you're more mature, etc. Does being one of very few black lady professionals, do you feel that there's a responsibility there?
I do, very much. I felt this at the highest point, the highest pressure when I wasn't doing so well as a professional. And everybody literally asks you what's going on. Why are you not performing? Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it makes me feel like I owe it to them. Like, I'm there for the black people. I must represent the black people. You know what I mean? And again, when I just won, everybody was so happy again. Yeah, you did it again.
But nobody understands in golf. I mean, if you knew what was going wrong, you'd fix it.
Right? would fix it. So I would love to do well. But, people, they're supportive. I think there's not many black people that play golf, ladies especially.
It's getting more popular now, though.
More popular, but
yeah.
professionals.
Yeah. What's your advice to a young kid who is talented, is athletic, a young black girl who's talented, athletic, or let's say any young kid? What's your advice to them with the benefit of hindsight?
How can I put it? Because as kids, you can't foresee the future.
Yeah.
But once you've been there, you can advise someone.
Yeah.
And say, if you see potential in yourself, or if you're doing something that you love, don't stop doing it. Just push yourself. There's no limit. Push yourself until you can't get better. And unfortunately, you can never stop getting better. Or fortunately, you can never stop getting better.
That's first prize, isn't it? I know parents often say, oh, my son loves acting. Or one family friend of my son wants to be a stuntman. He was at a private school. And they said, if that's what you want, go for it.
Go for it.
And he's now in the movies. You see him in all these movies. They said the only proviso was, if you want to be a stuntman, you must do it properly.
That's
you must get qualified. You must learn. You must do it. And he did it 100%. So something similar, you would go along with that.
Very much, yeah. If you want to be, whatever it is that you're doing,
follow your dream. Follow your dream.
Follow your dream and make sure you put in the best effort that you can.
I suppose the difficulty is, if you're not making it, there comes a stage where you have to make a difficult decision. Did you ever think of giving up when you hit the wall, so to speak?
I did. I didn't have a sponsor. I wasn't playing well. And it was getting tough. So I said, look, both my parents have passed. I'm still looking after the kids at home.
Wow.
I've got to provide for them. Golf is not paying me.
And this is what, in your 20s?
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah, that's responsibility.
Golf is not paying me. I've got to look for something else. I've studied. I must use my degree. I spoke about it to my boyfriend. Nobody else knows.
Yeah.
Like, it was one of those things. And he said to me, if you quit today and you get your job wherever you want to work, are you ever going to feel like you should have given it a try? You could have tried harder. So I thought about it. I said, yes, I believe I can play, but I'm just playing badly for now. But I don't have what I need right now. I'm struggling. So he says, don't quit. Keep working. So...
Was that a turning point?
It was. He said, think about it. In 6 years' time, you're working at wherever you're going to get your job.
In an office, yeah.
Are you going to be happy? Are you going to be doing what you were born to do? So, and then I thought back. He said, think about your career. Since you were 12 years old, you've invested so much time and energy into all your achievements. You became number 2 in the world. It wasn't by fluke. Statistics don't lie. You're just going through a slump and it will pass. Keep working.
And what was the beginning of the recovery? Was there a moment? Was there a shot? Was there a thought process? Was there a drill or something? What was the moment where you said, I'm back on track?
So I went back to my coach, same coach. I said, I discussed with him as well. I didn't say I was going to quit because he would have been disgusted.
Yeah.
You know.
Who's that? Who's it?
It was Warwick Drouin at Canada.
Ah, yes.
So I said, I'm really struggling. Can we look for other changes? Can we do something differently? He said to me, I need to stop overthinking it.
Back to Gary Player.
Yeah.
Same thing.
You got to stop overthinking it. You're swinging well. You're swinging better than the first day I gave you a lesson. You need to allow yourself and step out of the shell and go out there and just enjoy yourself. Stop looking for perfect. There's no such. So,
until you can go around in 18 shots. That's
right,
perfect, yeah.
Right? So I went and I played. It was getting better. I started playing like there was no meaning behind it.
Yeah.
Like it didn't mean a lot. I don't know how to explain it.
You're relaxed.
Like not putting so much importance on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like don't be desperate.
Yeah.
Desperation stinks.
And don't be too hard on yourself. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I was very hard on myself. I wanted to get everything right. I wanted results, but it wasn't happening. And he said, you got to relax. Have fun. You got to love yourself more. You don't love yourself anymore. You're miserable.
I love it. And that was the beginning of the recovery.
That was the beginning of the recovery. And from there, I said, okay, it doesn't mean much. I'm just going to go and play. So I played. The score started getting better because I wasn't too worried about the next shot.
Yeah.
And then I started seeing a psychologist. That helped a lot.
But all golfers need a psychologist, whether it's formal or not, because your sport is so unforgiving and so insane.
Yeah. So the psychologist, basically, in short of all the lessons, or a summary of all the lessons I had with the psychologist, was just a reminder of how good you are.
Yeah.
And go there, play golf the way you used to. So she basically took me back to
the little kid who could hit a golf ball for daddy.
That's it.
Oh, fantastic! What is the amateur golfers? And I'm a keen amateur, and I'm awful. All right, and we look at you guys in awe. What is the most common fault you see in amateurs? Why can they not hit the ball further? One tip for an amateur.
Why can't there's so many?
One thing. What's the most important thing about hitting a golf ball far and sweetly?
Hitting a golf ball far. Stop trying to hit it too hard. Like a lot of amateurs try to hit the ball so hard so that it goes far. It's body rotation. The more relaxed your muscles are, the more rotation you get.
I'm going to try it. Because you're talking to me, not other people. You realize that. What are your ambitions? Where to now? What are your ambitions? You've talked about this incredible journey, okay? Mm-hmm. And now you're at a real high point of your career, so of your professional career. What are your ambitions in golf and in life?
Right now, so next thing now in December, I'm going to go get my card in Europe.
Yep.
So that's my immediate ambition. And then my life has been changed through golf. I'd like to change other people's lives through golf as well. So I'm actually looking into doing golf development. It's a lot of people, you can change lives. You can, even if the person is not going to be able to play professionally. But the golf industry, the market is so big. You can do so much. You can, if you can't play, you can do rules, you can do marketing, you can do management. There's so many things you can do.
Are you open to, obviously you would like more sponsors because all golfers need sponsors. Uh-huh. Are you open to ideas? You've talked about possibly, and let's be honest, you're a young black lady in South Africa, in golf. You're blazing a trail in a way. Mm-hmm. Are you open to people who can use you? And I mean that in the nicest way, work with you to achieving something along the lines that you've talked about, both in golf and in terms of development. Would you like to hear from people who'd like to assist you in this journey?
Yes, I would like that. Now that you've mentioned sponsors, I don't have a sponsor myself.
You're kidding.
I don't. So I've signed with MSC Sports.
Yeah, Barney Gunn and MSC.
Barney Gunn. We have to get a sponsor.
Yeah.
To be able to manage stuff. But I am looking for a sponsor myself. But once I get that, you can go into discussions with the sponsors. Maybe the sponsors will be interested in helping me get into development. I've already got a plan and everything for golf development. I'm just hoping that when I get the finance one day, I'll be able to put it into action.
Well,
But
hopefully,
I've been working on it. Yeah.
Hopefully this chat will lead to it, and we'll certainly put the word out. Nobuhle Dlamini, thank you very much for chatting to us. Congratulations on what you've done. It's the most incredible story, and we'll follow you very closely. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Wow, what an amazing journey Nobuhle has had. Thanks as usual to Slow in the City for hosting us. Follow us on social media or subscribe via your favorite podcast app for updates. See you next time on the Sport Exchange podcast. Cheers from John Robbie.